How can you ask for forgiveness when you're not willing to admit your history? When you're not willing to admit the wrongs that have been perpetrated against our people? You can't get forgiveness if you're not willing to confess the sins of your forefathers. We are our forefathers. We had to deal with the sins of our forefathers. That is why we were put in the position that we were put in. I was watching this show on Netflix, and it's called Narcos. And there was a scene in that show where the main drug dealer is trying to get all of the Mexican drug dealers to kind of come together. And he's talking to one particular one, an older guy. And he was like, he already had a way to get back in and out of America. And he was working with the police over in America, but he was moving opium. And he said that I don't want to move into what, the products you're talking about moving into, because like the white people turn a blind eye to what I'm doing, because it's only affecting, they turn a blind eye because it's going after the undesirables. And who are these undesirables? He says the blacks, they just turn a blind eye, the people in the lower social status, whatever else. So therefore they don't care. And see, that is what has been going on. Everyone plays nice and smiles in your face and everything else, but behind closed doors, everyone is confederate with the downfall of our people. And see, but people are now just wanting a blank check for forgiveness. But people have been seeing all these things that have been happening and just turned a blind eye or ignored it. But it will not be ignored anymore. This is why the planets are telling you. They're heralding a change that is coming. You cannot, ask for forgiveness when you're not willing to admit your history. You can't keep saying, well, it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. You've inherited a society that has been built upon the backs of our people and the wrongs that have been done to our people, and people stealing the resources of our people and putting us at the bottom. And all of that is coming to an end. You are now witnessing the switch. You are witnessing the revelation, the fulfillment of the book of Revelation with the rising of the Most High's people once again. That is what you are seeing now. You're having the opportunity to see it before the destruction comes. Because many people have been just, they all play nice to your face. They all smile and everything else. Oh, man, hey, man, you're cool. I like you. Yeah, you're not like all those other black people, all the other BS. Or, everything's equal, man. If you just want to work hard, you can get everything else. I'm like, nah, man. Everything here is already ours. We don't have to work hard to earn it from you, because you guys have lied about absolutely everything and hidden it. And I'm going to show you how things really haven't even changed that much. Going to take a look at this book right here, White Fright, okay? Check this out. It's talking about the Southerners being a little upset because so-called black people were wanting their rights, okay? So if leading whites were irritated by black demands for equality, seeing them as untimely, many progressive white and black commentators were disgusted by the reaction of the white Southerners to the war, which seemed to be primarily to shore up the domestic racial caste system, okay? Undermined wartime conditions, and only secondarily to win the war. According to reports filed in 1942 by field agents for the Bureau of Agricultural Economics, Southern whites refused to go all out, okay, in the war effort, if going all out may mean a revolution in Southern societal and racial relationships, believing that they were fighting for things as they have been in America and haunted by revolting visions of what the new society may be like. White Southerners often seemed to be fighting their own separate war. Is that kind of the same thing you hear with Make America Great Again? They want things to go back as how it used to be. And now it goes all the way back to this, whole thing going on with fighting World War II. The Southerners wanted, hey, I'll fight as long as we're going back to the way how things are now. But I don't want to see how things might be in the future. And that goes along with the same slogan of Make America Great Again. Because during the greatness for them is them being able to do whatever the hell they want, them not being subjected to laws, them being able to rape, rob, murder, and steal everything from us, them being able to give us a fake nationality, black, African American, whatever. This is what they were willing to fight for. They were not willing to fight for true equality of all of us. So after my ancestors fought in your wars, this is what they came back to. It says, will the peace bring racial peace? As they had during Reconstruction and after World War I, white Southerners responded to black men in uniform and African American demands for full equality with pitiless violence. Okay? During the summer of 1946, Southern whites blinded, castrated, and killed 56 African Americans. And just like in that show with Narcos, they all just turn a blind eye to this. This is their history. These are the things that they've done. And trust me, none of these people paid for any of the things that they did to our people. Okay? He killed 56 African Americans, many of whom were veterans. Local law enforcement agencies lent a hand, engaging in an orgy of official violence that was extreme even by Southern standards. When ex-Marine Timothy Hood removed the Jim Crow divider from a segregated streetcar in Brixton, Alabama, he was shot 5 times by the conductor and arrested, jailed, and executed by the chief of police with a single shot to the head. As many as 5 former GIs were killed at the hands of the Birmingham police in the first 6 weeks of 1946. Where is the justice for these people? See, don't be asking for forgiveness when you're not willing to admit your sins. See, and this is what's been going on. Oh, God forgives everyone. Well, what did you need forgiveness for? If you aren't responsible for anything, why are you worried about asking for forgiveness? Why does Jesus need to come and die for your sins? Because you know these sins are going to follow you. Just like the scriptures, Lamentations 5 and 7 say. We had to pay for the sins of our fathers, and you're going to have to do exactly the same thing. People have made a covenant with the so-called Europeans, and they've allowed them to turn away from their legacy because they've stolen our legacy and made up a fake one and acted it was theirs. And that is what was going on in that show, in the Narcos. You can do whatever you want to these black people. Just make sure that it doesn't affect our people. And that's how this whole world has been. You've stolen the legacy of others, and you've raised yourself up in a society that you were never a part of. Let me show you. This shows you how you guys have just stolen other people's information and pawned it off as your own. Apart from what was written on the atom, the name of Demetrius is associated with a large list of books dealing with over 60 different subjects and covering all of the branches of science known to the ancient world. In addition to this vast field of knowledge, the list also contains books on military science, law, and magic. Clearly, the accumulation of such a vast range of knowledge by a single individual, written in a single lifetime, is impossible both physically and mentally. Now see, this is what the whole world is just confederate to believe a lie. You're confederate to believe that you guys came up with all this information. You're confederate to believe that we are so-called African Americans. You're confederate to believe that we are not the people of the book. You're confederate when you kill us and all of you guys just turn a blind eye. And now you made a religion that you have been confederate with, believing that somehow you're going to get a blank check and everything's going to be forgiven and no one needs to pay for any of the things that have happened to our people. You're sorely mistaken. You've received the dainties of this world off of our backs. You are still lying to yourselves, believing that you were you were the ones that had all this knowledge before. You don't understand the fact that, or you don't want to believe the fact that many of my ancestors were killed by your hands. The laws were all against us. No one says restore. Just like I said in the last video I did, no one says restore these people, make things right with them. That's how you know who the true people of the book are. Soon we are going to be moving into Pluto, moving into Aquarius. And it's going to mean many horrible things because all this information that we're bringing out, you've been able to hide. But see, now we're moving into the time of revelation. And what is going to be revealed? The lies are going to be revealed. You will not be able to hide them anymore. All of the death, I was talking about another story where you guys took 4 of our people into the woods and shot them 50 or 60 times. None of these people had to pay for these things. And think about it, those are people who could have had kids. Maybe they had kids. Their children now are growing up without fathers, without mothers. Your people were allowed to go ahead and go and buy homes and have businesses and pass that wealth down when they should have been in jail. So don't sit there and say that you did not benefit from any of this, because your ancestors have benefited from being able to rape, rob, murder, and steal and not pay for their crimes and still be there to establish your homeland and everything else. And all the other nations have been working with you. And they're going to have to pay as well because they have been Confederate. Hey man, so long as it affects only the black people, we don't care. They're the undesirables. We're going to make money off of them. We're going to make money off them being at the bottom. Well, I hope you enjoyed that money. I hope you enjoyed your time, because that time is quickly coming to an end. Shalom.